Ella and her mummy had been to the zoo. It was a wonderful day. Ella had seen all the animals she wanted to see. She had held a snake, made faces at the cheeky monkeys, watched a hippo roll in the mud, and even thought about taking an elephant home. Maybe trying to sneak an elephant out hadn't been Ella's best idea ever, but when she got home, her daddy showed her a new kitten that they had just bought. The kitten had little round eyes that looked just like coins, so Ella called the kitten Penny. It had been a good day, a really good day, and now a really tired Ella was sinking deeper and deeper and deeper into sleep. When she lay down, her bed seemed to surround her, like it was giving her a lovely big soft hug. Ella was lovely and warm and all snuggled up, and the last thing she thought about as she sank into sleep was the good day she had had, and all the animals she had seen, and the kitten she had met that was going to live with her and her mummy and daddy. And Ella felt very happy. And because she was very happy, she started a very happy dream. Ella imagined she was back at the zoo, but it was night time. All the keepers had gone home, and the animals were snoozing too. They had all had their tea, and they were lying down in their beds. Some of the animals were asleep, and some were still awake, a little tired after a hard day of entertaining the crowds, but still awake. Ella dreamed that she was walking around the nighttime zoo, and she could go into any animal area and have a talk, because in Ella's dreams all the animals could talk. Ella had heard the animals making their animal noises in the day, but in her dream they were making noises like people, talking just like Ella. Ella dreamed she walked right into the elephant house. The 4 elephants she had seen in the zoo during the day were in there. 2 were on their sides, lying on a huge pile of straw. One of the elephants was snoring. We could listen to the sound, but, well, it was a very strange snoring sound. Ella dreamed that an elephant snoring sounded like someone playing the trumpet and burping at the same time. Probably not the best sound ever. But 2 other elephants were wide awake, and one elephant had his front feet in a big pool of water. The water was very warm, and a little bit of steam was coming off it. Ella could feel the warmth coming from the pool, the way you can feel the warmth coming from a big warm bath just before you get in. Ella looked for a moment and said,
Mr. Elephant, why are your feet in that big pool of water?
The elephant flicked his trunk and said, Have you any idea how hard it is standing up all day when you weigh as much as an elephant? Quite honestly, my feet are a bit tired after such a day. I think I've walked a few miles today, back and forwards in front of all the crowds. I love to see all the children pointing at me and admiring my big, strong legs and my fine, fine trunk. But, well, sometimes I just get carried away, parading around and giving my bottom a wiggle to make them laugh. The other elephants tell me to take a break and have a lie down, but I just love to entertain the children. And when they have all gone home, I suddenly think my feet are really tired. I find a lovely warm bath soaks away all the aches. I expect you find that too when you've been running around all day. Ella just stared at the elephant. It was funny enough hearing an elephant talk, but she had never thought about how many miles an elephant walked or how hard an elephant worked. It did sound like a hard job being a zoo elephant, but fun. And the elephant was right. Sometimes Ella loved to soak in the bath and let the bubbles come up right in front of her face. Having a bath was lovely, and Ella thought about it for a few seconds, but then she noticed something really a bit odd. When she looked back at the elephant, he had a great big scrubbing brush, and he was rubbing the bottom of one of his feet. And the elephant said, Oh, that is really nice. Just the thing after a very hard day at work.
Mr. Elephant, do you mind?
Ella suddenly found she was soaking wet. Without warning, the elephant slid down the side of his pool and plonked his whole huge elephant body right in the water. There was a huge splash and water was flying through the air. The elephant didn't mind. He didn't mind at all. He had his big scrubbing brush and he was rubbing his back very hard and very fast. A big elephant grin was on his face, and he hadn't noticed Ella getting wet until she shouted at him again.
Mr. Elephant!
The elephant looked up. Oh, terribly sorry, he said. Wait a minute, I've got an idea. I'll call my friends the snakes.
How can you call anyone when you don't have fingers?
The elephant stamped hard on the floor, and Ella realised you don't need fingers to call your friends if they live next door and each of your legs weighs as much as an adult. The elephant flopped back into his bath and made another massive splash. So now Ella was really wet. But coming around the door was a long, thin, slithery, swivelling snake. Ella was a little worried, but the snake popped his head up, winked at the elephant and said, All right, me old mate, how's it going? The elephant said, I'm lovely and warm and wet, but my little lady friend here needs to dry out. Can you help? Be glad to, me old China, said the snake. And in no time, the snake had slithered and slid sideways, slopping over slabs of concrete and slipping slowly down some steps into his slim and stylish snake house. This is my own space, hissed the snake. There were some other snakes who had their own little rooms as well, but they were fast asleep. This snake seemed wide awake, and he was happy to chat. He flicked his tail upwards, and Ella saw a big red heater blowing lovely hot air into the room. The snake lay on his back and sent a little ripple down his belly as he let the hot air warm him up. Lovely, he said. So lovely and warm. Do you fancy a little slice of mouse meat or a big juicy beetle?
No, thank you.
But Ella did enjoy lying there and letting the warm air dry out her dripping clothes. She had a great time talking to the snake. He wasn't so scary when all the people were gone. He made Ella laugh by telling her stories of how he liked to play tricks on people at the zoo, like the times he hung on a beam, waiting for people to walk underneath and then drop down all of a sudden, so when they turned round he almost had his head on their shoulder and the people would go, "Ah!" Ella wasn't sure she wanted any of the horrible food he liked to eat, but on his own the snake was very funny, and his little home was very warm, and she felt very sleepy, lying there and listening to his stories. And soon she was feeling very, very sleepy and starting to slip off. Ella was lovely and warm and all snuggled up, and the last thing she thought about as she sank into sleep was the fun she had had meeting the snake and the elephant. Ella felt very happy. Hello, hello. Ella's mummy was waking her up. It was morning and the sun was shining, making Ella's bedroom curtains glow bright and pink. Hello, it's time to get up. You're going to nursery today.
Mummy, I was at the zoo. I was talking to the elephant and the snake.
I know, Poppet. It was a lovely day, wasn't it? But I'm sure you'll have another lovely day at nursery. Ella was sure she would have a lovely day, but she was also sure that someday soon she'd go back to the zoo and see the elephant and the snake and all the other animals again.